Bim, 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 bim. Guess what? We are live. And it's Sunday. No, it's not, it's a Saturday. And it's the 22nd of July, 2023. And that can only mean one thing. It's time for What a Week That Was. Doopy doopy doo doop. We're going to do What a Week That Was. What happened to this week? Nobody knows. No, except me. And anyone who's been watching the news recently. Or been on the internet. So basically everyone knows what's been going on, but this is my take on what has been going on in this week for What a Week It Was. Simple. Anyway, let's get started, shall we, with the news. Last Sunday, we got quite a bit going on, actually, for a Sunday. Why is that up there? That shouldn't be up there. That should be... Why are these all mixed up? Oh, hello, here we go. Smiley Mac, hello. Angela, hello. Welcome to the chat. Hopefully you're both good. Right then. Oh no, it is that one. That is the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. Yes. America. Oh, I hope we got someone else in. Daniel, hello. It's come back so quickly. Yeah, it's a very quick week this week. Every week is a quick week. Anyway, a protester at Death Valley where temperatures reached 54 degrees centigrade or 130 degrees Fahrenheit. I know, I remember all these numbers. Protesters saying, "Happy Death Day, this is a climate emergency." And it's like, yes, we're aware of a climate emergency. 100 million Americans are in a severe heat warning. And there's also a massive amount of heat going through Europe, and it's just, the world has just become incredibly hot and on fire. Except, of course, in the United Kingdom and in South Korea, where by Sunday 8 bodies have been recovered from an underpass which had flooded pretty much instantaneously. It's just horrendous. Oh, I we got someone else on. No. Feels like it was on last Saturday. Yeah, that's what I said. So it was Saturday. Meanwhile, Kier Starmer, everyone's favourite numpty, talks but says nothing about what they would do with public service spending. But he's laser focused on reforming public services, but won't tell anyone what he's going to do or how he's going to do it. So how the hell are we going to vote for him? I wouldn't vote for him, and I won't vote for him. I've already decided. This guy is unelectable as Prime Minister. Sadly, that means we get stuck with the Conservatives, in my opinion, but there you go. Someone should tell them they can't put... Well, Anyway, a pod of whales, the largest pod of whales stranded in the UK. We're trying to figure out, or people are trying to figure out, I'm not directly involved, but people are trying to figure out why so many whales are getting stranded all over the world, not just in the United Kingdom, but everywhere. We've looked at a lot in America, and sadly all these whales had to be humanely euthanized, or euthanized, depending how you say it. But no, it's very strange that the whales are beaching, and they think some of it might have something to do with the global warming. Other people think there was the leader of the pod was sick and disoriented, and they just follow the leader and that kind of thing, but nobody knows. Hi Artemis, and hi Alan, welcome as well. Getting quite a full house at the moment, which is good. Don't forget to join in the chat, put your opinion across, I will read it out. Good news, though not for the whales obviously, but we got to Monday and there was a breakthrough in Alzheimer's treatment. It's not a cure, but a third of people given this drug basically have the symptoms, or the speed of the symptoms, drastically reduced, which is a great thing. Alzheimer's is where people lose their memory and get very confused about everything. I'm pretty sure my mother's got it, but she hasn't been diagnosed yet. But they've said it's not 100% safe. There are cases of it causing bleeding on the brain as well. But hopefully it is a breakthrough, and hopefully they can progress with it. It's high solar radiation. Those Welsh people going to the beaches, it's not nice how they deal with them. But yeah, if they can't get back in the water, that's the problem, and it's cruel for them to be on the beach. Just drying out, the skin drying out. You know what it's like when you've been in the sun too long and your skin dries. Imagine if you're something that lives in the water and your skin dries. Talking of which, wildfires in Greece and the USA and China. Literally, like I said before, the whole world is currently on fire. As is a bridge in Ukraine, going between Russia and Ukraine. It's the famous bridge that Putin opened a few years ago to prove that Crimea is part of Russia. Built this massive bridge, and it's for the second time it's been attacked by Ukraine. And fair enough, I think. Virgin Galactica is about to take passengers, which all seems a little bit strange considering what's happened with another multimillionaire passenger service that was on. And Kier Starmer, I should have a shut up Kier thing. Kier Starmer says he won't scrap the cancelled benefits for children. So if you've got 2 kids, you don't get any benefits for other kids that you have after the 2. It's like a way of stopping people having 19 kids and earning like 50 grand a year by not working, just claiming off the kids. I kind of see how it works. I don't necessarily agree with the way of it. And Kier Starmer's always been against it, saying it's inhumane. You know, children are suffering. If you're the 3rd or 4th child in a family, then that family's got the same money as people with 2 children, blah de blah de blah. And now he's saying, you know what, we're going to keep it. We are going to keep it. You go up a virgin and then you're gone. Yes, thank you. Please hit that like button. Oh yeah, okay. Watch this instead and come and talk to us, mad and wonderful chatters. Yes, mad. No, she's about wonderful, but definitely mad. I'm only joking. I love you all equally, which means I hate you, obviously. Oh, my Monday's moved. I don't like it when Monday moves. Let's move it back again. There we go. So that was Monday, which took us rather nicely to Granville, fetch a cloth, Tuesday. And what happened on Tuesday? Well, McDonald's made the news, but not for the right reasons. McDonald's UK have been accused of sexual assault, bullying and racism in the workplace. The CEO of McDonald's UK has apologised for this and is looking into it. But basically, a lot of bullying is going on in the workplace, and it is unacceptable. And I agree it's unacceptable as well. So we have something in common. Meanwhile, it was announced that Tata are expected to go ahead with a battery factory up in or down in Somerset or something like that. And it was going to be announced, it was going to be a massive thing the following day, but no one mentioned it because other stuff went on instead. Meanwhile, the barge arrives on the coast of Britain. This time it's been fitted out and it's ready to go, and take at least, I think it's 500 of the immigrants who are currently in hotels. And people are saying it's inhumane, blah 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 blah, and it's just not. IJT, Aya Rachel as well, Gridrunner Shack. I blame Grimace, says Gridrunner Shack. I do as well, although I don't know what he's on about. I hate it when my Monday moves, it just creeps up on you. Yeah, it does. So yeah, this has arrived. People saying it's inhumane. I'm like, no, it's not. It's basically it's what they use to for workers and things like that, as and when there are places where you can't actually have a hotel. It's not as posh as a hotel. It's basic, but it's certainly better than a tent or living on the streets. And I don't think people who don't necessarily deserve to be in this country should be kept in 3 or 4 star hotels. I think it's just ridiculous. Anyway, it's going to be up and running over the next couple of weeks, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I wouldn't like one anywhere near me. Apparently, I'm online. Am I? Yeah, I'm online. I think I'm online, unless it's. I think Luke's out drinking tonight, so I don't think we're going to get anything off Luke today. Yeah, I'm live on YouTube. Oh no! Oh no! Anyway, fires are still raging in Europe and the US. People are saying it is climate change. People are losing their houses. People are being evacuated. The problem is all these fires are actually adding to global warming, because you've got millions and millions of acres and hectares and millions of trees all being burnt. They're all holding carbon, and all that's going up into the sky and into the atmosphere. Meanwhile, Ryan Giggs, all charges against Ryan Giggs have been dropped. If you remember, he was charged and trialled and found, well, they couldn't reach a verdict on assaulting his then girlfriend and her sister. But apparently his ex-girlfriend and sister no longer want to give evidence, so the cases have been dropped. So the man has not managed to clear his name necessarily, but he has no charges against him, no further action, and if it was someone just being vindictive, then I think charges should be brought against people who put false charges against people, because his career has been ruined, and despite everything, he will be known as, well, the guy who went to court and wasn't found not guilty. You know what I mean? Thanks. Don't burn the forest. Yeah, we can't help it, JT. Oh, it's not a Smiley Mac. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Meanwhile, one of my least favourite things, which is loot boxes. New rules, industry rules, nothing to do with law, so are therefore irrelevant, have been put forward. Apparently, who knew this? It's addictive. Really? No. And it could be classed as a form of gambling. No, it is a form of gambling. When I was a kid, even though I wasn't really into football, I used to collect those little packs with the cards in. They weren't stickers back then, they were cards. And you put them in your book, and you try and get all the teams. You do swapses at school and all that kind of thing. And the cards are already packed before you get them. It's analogue, it's old school. So the good shiny cards and things like that are already in the packs, and it's you randomly picking one from a random shop and a random box, and randomly getting the ones you want or a load of crap that you don't want. It's completely random for the individual. Obviously it's preset how many go out of each thing, but it's random who gets them. They're put in random boxes, are shipped all over the country. Now my issue with loot boxes and those gambling machines that you have, which are digital and pay out lots and lots of money, like 80 quid, 100 quid, 200 quid, 500 quid, whatever. I have got no proof of this, but I will be unsurprised if they had in them a little face recognition camera that looked at the person sat there thinking, this person in the last 6 months has put £2,000 in us, and we've only given him or her £500 in wins. But we know when we give them £500, they spend it straight back in here anyway. So let's give them another big win. We'll let them win 250 quid, or we'll let them win whatever. And because it's all done by computer and the internet's everywhere, I'm no proof, but I am sure that is what is going on. You say I've got no proof about it, it's just my intuition, which is a bit crap most of the time. But anyway, go with it. Loot boxes, 100% they know who you are. They know your age, your address, how much you spend, what games you've got, how often you play, how often you gamble. And I don't believe any of this randomness. Oh, it's random what you get. No, it's not. If you get crap players all the time, eventually you're going to stop doing it. But they don't. Every now and then when you get to the end, you're like thinking, oh, this is a waste of time. I'm not bothering anymore. There's microphones everywhere. It can hear you. And you might think, oh Christ, we better give him Pele then, haven't we? Just keep him interested in FIFA, or give him that gun that they've been after, or one similar, but not quite that one, because we want them to keep putting money in. So I think loot boxes should be banned outright. I think all advertising for any gambling should be banned. I think any machines that are connected to the internet in gambling establishments should be banned. I think any sponsorship of any gambling companies in any sport should be banned. Gambling is destroying families, it's ruining lives, it's putting people into very serious mental health crises, and suicide, etc. And I just don't think that the way society's gone, that it's a fair way. Like I say, back in the day when I was a kid and we picked up our little packs of Topps football cards, or whatever the hell they were called, there was no way the company knew that that pack would end up in my hands. There was no way the company knew how many of good cards I'd got, how many bad cards I'd got, how many times I'd even bought a pack. It was just a pack. But nowadays, with all the internet and everything else, everyone knows everything. I don't agree with club cards either, or anything like that in supermarkets, because they know your age, where you live, what you eat, when you spend money, what you drink, all that kind of stuff, and the reward they give you is literally pitiful for all that information they get to you, and allegedly they can sell it on as well, because you agree to that when you sign up for these things. Loyalty cards, again, I think should be banned. I think everyone, regardless, should be able to get the deals, regardless of whether you're a loyalty member or not. And I don't think the supermarkets should have all that power of knowing exactly what you do and when you do it. Which takes us to the banks. Again, exactly the same thing. They're trying to get rid of cash. They're shutting down branches all over the place, so we can't draw cash out, we can't pay cash in. So we've got to use our cards, we've got to use our apps on our phones. And again, they know how much you spend, where you spend it. I mean, my bank knows that I spend, on average, a £5 every day at Cloonan's. I mean, it's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world. Cloonan's is a chicken stall in the market in Wigan. My main meal of the day, usually. But why should banks know all this information about you? I think cash should be brought back, and I think we should rely on cash more, and not fall into the trap of being monitored for everything we do. Not to mention facial recognition cameras in supermarkets, facial recognition cameras going up on streets as far as we don't know, but probably will be doing. We are heading into a very dangerous situation where our freedoms, or certainly our lives, are being monitored. And I think it's time for us all to wake up and say, you know what, this isn't happening, not on our watch. Anyway, sorry, I had to have a rant then all about that. I do apologise. I do have the odd rant, and that was one of them. I'm pretty sure there's another one coming fairly soon, I'm sorry. But yeah, loot boxes, banned a lot of them. Yeah, I've just seen if anyone written anything. No, they've all gone quiet. I think everyone's gone off because I went on a rant. Oh dear. My bank knows I spend money in a game shop in Wigan too. Well, yeah. I'm being a bit hypocritical here, aren't I? Because most of my money now goes through on card. But that's because people don't carry cash anymore. People even say, I don't carry cash. Anyway. Electric cars coming up. No, electric cars are getting a day off this week. It's Kier Starmer who's going to get it. Right then. Spoiler. Inflation has been very high recently, as you can see from this. Well over 10%. It unexpectedly fell, apparently, due to fuel prices going down. So it fell to 7.9%, which is pretty damn good. Better than expected, but still higher than it needs to be. The reason for that is that fuel costs have come down. However, you go to the supermarkets, the prices are still going up. You're like, well, fuel's been coming down for a while. And one of the reasons why the prices went up in the supermarkets was because moving stuff around, preparing food, using machines, all that kind of stuff was expensive. These prices are coming down, but the food prices in the shops are still going up. They're still cashing in on basically the Ukraine war and screwing everyone in the country. We love to hear your rants. But let's not get electric cars anyway. They're good for the planet. Oh, shut up, Smiley. You're trying to get me into that slimy Starmer. Alan, please. Got Rishi Rich and Bubbly Boris. I'm not sure about... yeah, go on then. We'll go with that. Meanwhile, the Wagner leader, who's been missing in action for a considerable length of time since his failed coup attempt, was seen on film, but the film was really bad. It was night time, it was horrible. But they're saying, oh yeah, it's genuine film. But hang on a minute, a genuine video. Hang on a minute, isn't this Russian video that came out on the Russian media, the same Russian media that did a deep fake video of Bruce Willis taped to a bomb somewhere talking in Russian? So, as I've said many times before, anything that Russia says, you take with a salt mine of skepticism. So I'm not even sure the guy's alive anymore, to be fair. If you've been an enemy of Putin, you're not. But he's been on video so many times, his voice has been recorded so many times, I'm pretty sure AI could recreate a video, do it at night time, where the lighting's crap, someone wandering around. Oh yeah, that's him, that's the guy. No, let's sit him down in front of a BBC news team and let them interview him, and then we might believe they're there. I'm just in an awful mood today. Train strike and bus strike on the same day. Oh yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Tupac Shakur was murdered many years ago, 27 years ago in fact, and a house was searched in Las Vegas for possible evidence. Now, can't be old-fashioned or anything, but if you've committed a murder, you're not going to keep incriminating evidence anywhere around for 27 years. So we'll see what comes of it. But anyway, house was searched. You're learning how to fly once you've gone against Putin. Mysteriously fell out of a window, yes. There was a good film called Iborgs. Iborgs. Borgs are my favourite one than the thingamabobs. Anyway, no one was ever arrested or charged with his murder, so the police in America are definitely looking into it a little bit more to see if they can actually find out what happened. Like I say, 27 years is a long while for evidence to be found that hasn't been found already, but I wish them luck, and surely the family deserve some kind of closure on this. Thank you. I think they're cancelled next week too. Trains are, yeah, there's another strike next week. More of that in a bit. Meanwhile, on Thursday, polling stations were open in 3 constituencies for former Tory MPs who've resigned. One of them was Boris Johnson, who was the best Prime Minister we've ever had, called Boris. And the other 2 were supporters of Boris, who all resigned at the same time. So 3 elections, and let's be honest, the Tories are not doing great. So it was a slam dunk for the opposite parties. Now in some places it's going to be the Lib Dems, in other places it's going to be Labour. Just absolute slam dunk. It's open goal. They've not only opened the goal, they're actually kicking the ball towards you so you can boot it in the goal. But what are the results? We'll find out in a little bit. Meanwhile, Russia have decided not to... What's that say? Oh, I don't know. Grain crisis. We've now got a grain crisis. Grain is going up all over the world because Russia has ceased the grain export from Ukraine. They are not joining in again. Meanwhile, the hospital consultants are on strike for 2 days over wage. Now bear in mind they're on between £89,000 and £119,000 a year. They want bills, and yeah, I have no sympathy whatsoever for the doctors being on strike. If they've had an issue for 10 years, why they bring it up in the middle of a world global financial crisis? You don't do that. And as for the junior doctors, this is their leader. Stuck up little arrogant prick. That's what he comes across when he's on the telly anyway. We're going for 35%, we don't want anything less than 35%, we're going to strike all next year if we need to. Well, sorry mate, you know, it just irritates me more than... I mean, I've been irritated by other union leaders, don't get me wrong, RMT, RCN, but this guy is an absolute... yeah, I sincerely hope that he wakes up and sees what's going on. How old is he? 10? Well, no, he's a junior doctor, so one assumes he's at least in his early 20s. But he acts like he's... You know when you're kids and you think, if I stamp my feet hard enough and I go, I'll get what I want. Well, that's what he's like. He comes across as, no, we want 35%, we don't care. We want that, and we're going to go on strike until we can get it. People are dying. People are missing appointments. People will die in the future. People won't get diagnosed for cancer, for leukemia, which is a cancer or not, heart conditions. brain hemorrhages, things like that. People are going to miss them. People are not going to go to hospitals because they think, what's the point, they're on strike, I won't make it worse for the people who are working, and they're going to die. And this guy, this little prick, that's the only word to describe him, he comes on the telly and he's literally like, nah, 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 poor me, poor me, poor me. Oh, absolutely infuriating. And this is the future that we've got. I'm pretty glad that, you know, within 20 years or so, I won't have to worry about it. It's just awful. And he literally is a spoiled brat. He just comes across. He makes Greta Thunberg look sensible. I mean, and he's leading, or he's one of the leaders of the junior doctors. All the junior doctors listen to him. Can they not see what the rest of us see? Or are they all as idiotic as well? I'm not demeaning in any way what junior doctors do. They do a fantastic job. It's a hard job. The hours are stupid. We need to sort that out. We need to do things to help them. But to be spitting out your dummy because you want 35% is an absolute joke. If you've been moaning, this has been going on, real term wage losses for over 10 years. You've not been a doctor for 10 years. Why did you go in the profession in the first case? It really is infuriating, and it really does annoy me. And this guy's got me so riled, and he's not even Kier Starmer. Bloody hell, who saw that coming? I don't often use the P word, but I think in this case it's absolutely valid. That doesn't work. I've been stamping my feet so much hoping for results. This little word not suitable for a YouTube stream. Yes. Alan says you won't get me clapping for them again. Yeah. I mean, that they put signs up saying claps won't pay the bills. Just well, yeah. Anyway, I've calmed down now. I'm all right. Don't worry. Don't panic. I'm calm because the good news is that was Thursday done. Phew. Oh, bugger. Now we've got Friday and the results of the elections. Are you ready, Kier? Kier's son, no, not really, but he could be, the youngest MP to be elected, currently in the House of Commons. Isn't the youngest MP ever, but he's the youngest one currently. I think he's about 25 years old. He won one of the 3 by-elections. The Lib Dems won another one, and we'll come to the last one in a minute. So, Labour say it's the country and the voters are crying out for change by winning one of the 3 by-elections. It's the biggest shift of a majority from one to the other in the history of by-elections. And obviously, the times we're in at the minute are very turbulent. The government's been in for God knows how long, and one would expect them to win, because, you know, that's what happens. If you've been in government for 10-15 years, a by-election, this is an opportunity for people to say, you know what, I'm going to show Conservatives I'm not happy with them and vote for someone else, or just not turn up. The problem is, when it comes to the general election, those people will be like, oh yeah, but do we really want this plonker who keeps changing his mind every 5 minutes to be running the country? Well, we don't. At least I don't. I think Kier Starmer at the moment, and his lack of clarity about anything, and his blatant way of spending the same money over and over and over again to improve. I mean, everyone wants better everything, don't they? We want better NHS, we want better schools for our kids, we want better colleges and universities, we want better roads, we want better hospitals, we want cheaper energy. Of course we do. But there's only a certain amount of money. You can't magic it out of nowhere. We've just come through a COVID crisis where all governments around the world have borrowed billions, and this monkey here keeps going on. Slimeball, go for Slimy Starmer. He keeps going on about all this money he's going to spend, but he keeps spending the same money over and over and over again. It's just really, 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 really annoying. And yeah, he's as dangerous as Jeremy Corbyn for completely different reasons. Meanwhile, Rishi Sunak, who hang on, my thing's not working. Oh yeah, we're off. Meanwhile, Rishi Sunak has said that because they kept hold of the ex-Boris Johnson thing, that the next general election is not a done deal. And I think he's right. I think people need to wake up to the... I mean, who in Labour would you trust to run the country? My argument is, this guy isn't great, but he's the best we've got. It's the only thing we've got. And at the moment, we know he's a bit rubbish. We know he's Rishi Rich, but he is... We know what he's like. We know how bad he is. Kier Starmer, it's just going to be dangerous. And if I'm stood here, or sat here, in 12 months' time, telling everyone that we've got Kier Starmer as the Prime Minister, I think we should all just, pack up and leave the country. There was that old joke years ago when, if Labour get in, can the last person who leaves the country turn the lights out, please? And I think we're going that way. We need to sort stuff out. We need to stop the boats. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do the other. Rishi isn't the greatest person ever, but he's the best Prime Minister we've had for a while, and I can't see Kier Starmer being any better. If Elder stamps his feet hard enough, then he will hurt his ankles and he will have rubble at his feet, not bones. Oh, rude. But probably true as well. Hashtag Elder for PM. Yeah, it doesn't really work like that, does it, unfortunately? Elder for President. I'll just sort this country out in 5 minutes. Just get rid of the people who are unnecessary in society, i.e. all the managers we've got in the NHS. That's where the money needs to be saved. Get all the managers out, just have minimum managers. People just sit in offices, go in an office and sit there all day, don't even leave the office. And they're getting paid 50, 60, 70,000 pounds a year for that. No, that could pay a nurse's wage. It could help pay for wage increases, things like that, things where we need it. We don't need people sat in offices, we need people on the wards, we need people in the doctor's surgeries, we need people in the pharmacies. That's what we need. We don't need more and more and more chiefs and not enough indigents. Anyway, that was Rishi going on. Meanwhile, I haven't finished with Starmer, don't worry. Meanwhile, I haven't finished with Starmer now. Donald Trump is to face charges of holding classified documents when he was no longer allowed to. And he could actually be in court and imprisoned before the next presidential election. Meanwhile, Tony Bennett, one of the last true crooners, not my style of music, but I know people did like him, has passed away at the age of 96. Appears, what people have said, as being a true gentleman of the industry. Not a bad word to be said by anyone about him. Old school, and that's a good thing. But sadly passed away, but good age, 96, same age as my grandfather, to be fair. And that brings us to today. Wildfires going on in Greece, in Rhodes in particular, which is a island, and people being evacuated, and some people being evacuated from the beach because there's nowhere else they can go. So little boats, little touristy boats are coming up and rescuing people. It's a little bit like a scene from Dunkirk. But again, it's global warming. But again, we're adding to the global warming by all these fires. Kier Starmer, he's been talking today. Kier Starmer, now remember, yesterday he said that people are crying for a change after they won one of the 3 by-elections. The biggest shift ever, blah blah blah. Tap the kid on the back who won, well done. Today, because he flip-flops worse than a fish out of water, we have got to learn lessons from defeat. In Uxbridge, very wrong if Labour policies end up on leaflets for the Conservatives, and I'm like, you mean like in Wigan at the last election, every candidate who wasn't Labour mentions the destruction and the redevelopments of the Wigan Town Centre, but not one leaflet I saw from a Labour councillor mentioned it. Labour are not fit to change a baby's nappy, never mind run the bloody country. I mean, you can't say one day, we're fantastic, we're great, look at us, everyone's crying out for change, that's why we won this election, then the next day say, We must learn lessons from defeat. I mean, the guy is so... I don't know. I think, to be fair, it wouldn't surprise me if it turns out, obviously this is complete untruth, that the leader of the junior doctors is his love child. Although I can't imagine him ever having a love child. Allegedly. I'm not saying he's boring or anything. But no, he's got nothing about him. He just tries to please everyone all the time. And in politics you can't do that. You've got to upset people because everyone's got different opinions on how everything works. And the problem you've got is, because people are so far one way, so far the other way, you ain't ever going to please everyone. You can try and please most of the people some of the time, or you can try and please a few of the people all the time, but you'll never please everybody all of the time. You'll never please anybody short of the time. This guy wouldn't please... Well, I wouldn't even buy an ice cream off him. I just can't stand him. Lightning strikes again. Couldn't agree with you more. But the sheep will vote them in. Of course they will. The problem you've got is Labour now, under him, I mean, Corbyn had his faults, i.e. everything had come out of his mouth. But at least he had policies. At least he had... I mean, they weren't all true. I'm sure I saw an interview after the election where they said, so if you'd have won, how would you have got rid of all the tuition fees? And he backtracked, well, I didn't say we get rid of all tuition fees. And then he started going on about, the get out of free jail card that he'd come up with. So, it's all... I mean, all politicians promise the world and give you bugger all when they get in. We know that. That's just the way it works. I think the reason I've not got in is because I don't promise the world, but if I do get in, I will give you what I promised you, which seems a better way of doing it. But this guy, Kier Starmer, is... I mean, I've done that joke for a few weeks now. Liz Truss was represented by a lettuce... I think it was the Star newspaper in the UK that had a lettuce, and it was like, which will last longer, the lettuce or Liz Truss in Downing Street as Prime Minister? And as it happened, the lettuce won. It's not even a joke. And you're like, yeah, that's great, the lettuce won, but we need to get another lettuce, and we need to just pour water on it, and then we've got Kier Starmer, because he's the biggest wet lettuce ever. We need someone who's got some gumption about it. We need someone who can actually stand up to the Tories. We don't need someone who doesn't say anything like, what's a woman? Oh, can't answer that. What you're going to do with public sector wages and money and things like that, or we can't talk about that. But we would be in negotiation with the people. I mean, he just comes out with stuff to what he thinks pleases people. And if people can't see that, and he gets in for the only reason that he's not Tory, because we don't know what the policies are, then literally the country will be on its knees. And it is terrifying to think that we are so close to that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the Tories are fantastic. I am genuinely a floater, as in voting. I've voted for everyone over the years. I've been voting for a very long time, and I very rarely don't vote. I always feel that it's my duty to go and vote, and people have fought for the vote and all that kind of thing. So, in show respect, I will go and vote. And I've voted for everyone: Independents, Labour, Tories, UKIP. I even voted Lib Dem once. Yeah. I don't think I've voted Greens, but I've certainly voted for many different parties, and I'm not just stuck with one in particular. And I've never really felt the need to join a political party either, which is why I stood as an independent. I think you're better off independent in a place where you can actually agree with everyone or disagree with everyone depending on what they're saying at that time. This guy's I think he's trying to be an independent. I don't know what he is, but at the moment, Labour, you've got the Tories and you've got Labour. And when Corbyn was in, Labour were over there somewhere. They were off the map. Off the map. Gone. Now, they've been dragged back. And they're like that. So you've got the Tories, and then you've got Labour. And Labour now is Tory light. They're so close to the Tories, it's unbelievable. Now, the problem you've got is, like I've said before, you ain't going to get a lot of money, coming from nowhere. So everyone, whoever gets in, is restricted by the amount of money they're going to be getting. If the economy's tanking, hopefully it'll get better, but if the economy's tanking, then you're getting less taxes and all that kind of stuff because less people are working, or they're working less hours and therefore they pay less tax and blah blah blah. I mean, the Tories in a way, have kind of shot themselves in the foot by giving tax breaks to the low wages. So you know, instead of earning like £8,000 before you pay tax, which I don't know whether it was around about that, but it was very low before you start paying tax. I think it's now £12,000 annually before you pay any tax, national insurance and all that kind of gubbins. So that's great for the people on poor wages, but a lot of people are on poor wages. A lot of people work part-time. A lot of people work, you know, I mean, full-time is classed as 30 hours. But that wouldn't give you £12,000 on minimum wage. So there's a lot of income that's missing from that tax break. And they were going to try and tax other people and get more money back, but that kind of fell through. And then they decided, well, the rich people are missing out, so we're going to reduce their tax, and that fell through, thank God. But yeah, the tax money is very, very strange. So how is this guy going to get all this money that he keeps spending over and over again? The analogy I always use, and I'm sorry if you've heard this before, is the fact that your grandma or your auntie or whomever has been in touch with you and said that for your birthday you're going to get a £10 note in your birthday card, and you're like, whoa, great, I can buy myself a new t-shirt, I can get myself a second-hand computer game for my games console, or I can go to the pub and have a you know, bit of a night out, have a few pints with lads and throw a few darts in the dartboard, not at the lads, or I can put some petrol in the car, or I could buy a bus ticket so I can get to work this week, or whatever. But you've spent it. If you look at what you've said, you've spent that 50 quid about 10 times. Your grandma's not giving you 100 quid, she's giving you 50 quid. Now, the money that he's going to get if he gets in power is, okay, it's not 10 quid, it's not for your nan, but he keeps saying that he's going to tax these people who are not paying non-doms, they're not paying tax in the UK for whatever reason. So you're right, okay then, you get a bit of money for that, that's fine, that's good, a few billion, you know, keep it up. And then he says he's going to tax the rich, so he's going to put the tax up on the rich. He's then going to tax the energy companies as well. So we're going to get a few billion here, there and everywhere. But some of these, like taxing the companies, the energy companies, is a one-off tax, because now the prices are going down. You can't tax a company for making money. We're taxing companies at the moment for making excessive amounts of profits. The profits will come down because the prices are coming down. So that money's going to disappear. But you've already spent it 3 times anyway. You're going to improve the schools, you're going to improve the NHS, you're going to make more soldiers in the army, we're going to get more police, we're going to sort the roads out, we're going to get the infrastructure better, we're going to make the country green, we're going to spend loads of money on the green economy. There's so much stuff that we're going to spend this same money on that you just can't do it. It's just BS. Still going, I got distracted by watching TV on sleep mode. Hey, what? Sorry, we're talking about Kier Starmer. We have to keep going. You can't not talk about Kier. Oh, he's gone. Oh no, where's Kier gone? Well, nobody cares, let's be honest. But yeah, the guy he's a waste of space as a politician, and he's not even working class. He keeps saying, oh yeah, I was brought up in a council estate or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, that was like 50 years ago. You know, you've been to university. You don't live in a council estate now. You don't have to worry where the money's coming from. You're a knight of the realm. You had a job in law that was like the top job you can have in law. You were paid probably more then than what you paid now for being the leader of the Labour Party and an MP. You are not a working class person. You know, kudos for getting out of that if that's where you did actually start. But no, you know nothing about real life. You know, people say Rishi Sunak knows nothing about real life. I agree, he doesn't. And I say the same for the leader of the Lib Dems, whose name I can't be arsed even looking up. He's a knight as well, he's a sir. In fact, the only leader of the top 3 parties who isn't a knight of the realm is Rishi Sunak. Rishi Rich. You think he'd have bought one by now, wouldn't you? But anyway, he hasn't. He's clueless in my humble. Yeah, no, he's trying too hard to please people, and you can't do that in politics because it doesn't work. It'll come round and bite you on the arse. And to be fair, I'd sooner we didn't find that out by him being Prime Minister. I'd sooner he just lost the next election and just resigned and just disappeared into the wilderness and got on with his life and then we got someone like what's it called, Wesley Streeting in, or someone like that, because there's no one in the Labour Party, or the Tory Party for that matter, who I think would make a better Prime Minister than the one we've already got. And he's crap, we know that. But I can't think of anyone in the Labour Party who would be any better. And I can't think of anyone in the Tory Party who'd be any better at the moment, because we've pretty much gone through everyone on the in the Tory Party who's an MP at the minute. They've all had to go at being leader, haven't they? Anyway, Rishi asking a homeless person if he works in business. Well, he probably does, to be fair. Have you got change? You know, it's all business. Anyway, that was me ranting about the week so far. Humble apologies. I do have a rant every now and then, and I do apologise about it every time. But then I have another one. So what can you do? 45 minutes in, we've not even gone off the news yet. But never mind, because it's everyone's favourite bit, particularly if you're called Angela. It's America. La 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 la, America. What's going on in America? Let's have a look at America. Oh God, no. America. So yes, we start off actually talking about North Korea, which is weird, but yeah, that's what happens, isn't it? Sometimes I need to move myself across a little bit. There we go. So yeah, North Korea. Apparently, North Korea have set off a nuclear missile, and it's crash landed. And Russia is looking into whether a North Korean nuclear missile landed in its waters on Wednesday of last week. The country's Russian's defence ministry was probing the launch, but said so far we have no clear information that the missile fell in Russian's economic zone. You can imagine though, if it did land in Russian's thing, that's more than what Ukraine have done. So here we go again. So I needed a drink. Too much ranting. That's story one. Story two. China is developing brain-disrupting weapons. That's what a weapons analyst has warned. But other people are saying, you're talking out your bum. But that's because they've already been infected. Fears that China is developing brain-disrupting weapons have again been raised despite the dismissal of claims a mysterious syndrome affecting US diplomats resulted from a deliberate attack. Unknown to many, the Chinese Communist Party and its People's Liberation Army have established themselves as world leaders in the development of neurostrike weapons. So yeah, we're waiting to see. Story number three, please. Russian continues firing generals amid purge by Defence Ministry. So that was the thing that the leader of the Wagner Group had a problem with, was the leaders of the generals of the Russian army not giving his army support, weapons and all that kind of thing. And that's who he was allegedly coming for. It wasn't Putin, it was them guys. Anyway, seems he's got his way because they're all leaving. Number four, Southern California wildfires force evacuation of nearly 1,000 homes. Like I said, the whole northern hemisphere is burning. Story number five, please. Millions across the US experiencing heatwave flooding in opposite sides of the coin weather. So a bit like Europe. You've got to remember that America is huge. So the weather's not the same all over America. So there are parts of America, like Louisiana, where they've got flash flooding and people being swept to their deaths. And then other parts of the country, they've got people whom are, basically being fried alive. So story number six, please. Putin warns that Russia will drop its own cluster bombs if Ukraine uses the controversial US-provided munitions. And I'm like, whoa, hang on a minute. Russian President Vladimir Putin said in an interview that Russia has a significant stockpile of cluster munitions and warned that Russia reserves the right to take reciprocal action if Ukraine uses the controversial weapons. But he's been using them on and off all the way through the war. So it's not like, that's the reason why America's giving Ukraine these weapons, is because he's the one who has been using them against Ukraine. I don't think America will give them the weapons like that if they weren't being used by the Russians already. So absolute nonsense. Oregon's tough voter-approved gun limits that ban large capacity magazines ruled constitutional. And you're like, what? Have I misread that? No. Portland, a federal judge has ruled Oregon's voter-approved gun control measure, one of the toughest in the nation, is constitutional, because it's not saying that they don't have the right to bear arms. What it's saying is you don't have the right to bear an assault rifle with an extra large magazine on it, which is common sense. It's a start. It's not brilliant, but it's a start. Story number 8, please. JFK Jr. defends his ethnically targeted COVID-19 comments. Now, remember last week we were talking about this. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. attempted damage control on his controversial remarks suggesting COVID-19 may be ethnically targeted. Yes, he's another nutter trying to get into the White House. Story number 9, please. Georgia mass shooter at large after killing at least 4 people. It was going so well. Georgia authorities say that at least 4 people were killed in a mass shooting in the Hampton. The shooting rampage reportedly began at approximately 10:45 a.m. in the Dogwood Lakes area, a small city south of Atlanta. Gunman still at large. When will Putin drop them? Russia to blame them on Ukraine? Well, yeah, exactly. Disney's live-action Snow White under fire for replacing 7 dwarves with magical creatures of all sizes and genders. Now, I saw a picture of this, the picture to the left, the guy in the blue tunic top thing. And they're walking across a field. And I only saw the picture, I didn't have any idea what it was about. And there's all these people at different sizes and all that kind of thing. And you know what I thought it was? I actually thought it was a clip or a still from the video from the 1980s safety dance, Men Without Hats. You know, we can dance if we want to, we can leave our friends behind because our friends don't dance, and if they don't dance well, no friends of mine, they'll walk through. And I thought that's what it was. But no, apparently they're the replacement for the 7 Dwarfs, because Disney has gone so woke. You'd think they'd learn from the Pixar Disaster movie, which name I can't remember, because, let's be honest, no one will be able to remember it, and the backlash they got from the live-action Little Mermaid, i.e. having a person of colour playing Ariel, who's a mermaid who lives underwater where there's no light gets there, so you wouldn't have melanoma. And now we've got rid of the dwarves. Now, I'm not saying using the term dwarves or anything is politically correct these days, but surely to God, doing this has meant that there are 7 actors who were basically perfect for the role who've not got the job, because now it's considered offensive for them to work. That's the only way I can look at this. Disney has gone absolutely off its rocker, and hopefully sooner rather than later they're going to figure out what's going on. Not that I watch movies anyway, but there you go. Snow White and 7 Dwarves, but no dwarves. Yes, exactly. Snow White and people, 7 people who were with her. 7 persons, 7 people who may or may not be sperm or egg producers. Because obviously, remember, if you're doing this, watching this, listening to this for a while, I have no idea what's going on, Smiley Mac, I'll be honest with you. Disney's forthcoming live-action Snow White is under fire for being so politically correct that it's reimagined the 7 dwarves as magical creatures of all sizes and genders. The film, which is slated for release next year, with Hispanic actress Rachel Zelga as the fairy tale princess, made waves this week after a Snow White stand-in was seen wandering around grounds in Bedfordshire. So yeah, they're filming it at the moment, and Disney are getting this so wrong, it's embarrassing. Traffic stopped on Crimean Bridge. Reports of blast. That was when the attack occurred, and fair play. New York State corrections officer loses gun during strong arm robbery in the Bronx. An off-duty New York State corrections officer lost his gun during a strong arm robbery in the Bronx about an hour before the $200 was stolen from a Scottish tourist by crowbar-wielding miscreants in Central Park. The corrections officer was walking with an acquaintance, mistress, near Westchester Avenue and 162nd Street at about 5:10 a.m. What? 5:10 a.m. What's anyone? Well, city that never sleeps, isn't it? New York, I suppose. New York, New York, New York. So good they named it twice. Woman drags activist by the hair to stop her from blocking traffic. Now, violence against other humans is not a great thing. However, violence against Just Stop Oil activists, are they human? I mean, we shouldn't do it, but I'll be honest with you, if I was in a rush for very urgent needs and they were in front of me, and my car would get through, put it that way. At the very least, I'd be there with revving my engine, so I'm burning more petrol and oil than I would have ever have done had they not stopped me, and hope everyone else does the same thing. Maybe that's the way forward. If you get stopped by Just Stop Oil and you're in a vehicle and you're in the front 2 or 3 rows, just rev your engine. Just keep it revved up. Just rev it. Don't rev it too much because you might damage it, but certainly make sure it makes a lot of noise. If everyone's doing that and they're sat there, they're actually making you deliberately use more oil than you would have done had they have not sat there. Because these people are morons. They make Kier Starmer look intelligent. The other day I was walking and my deadly weapon just disappeared. I didn't notice. If I was an ambulance driver, I'd have red wheels after. Yes, that's probably not there. I know where you're coming from though. Wagner fighter executed 2 comrades for refusing to take part in mutiny. Weirdly, pardon me. 2 Wagner Group mercenaries were executed by their colleagues for refusing to participate in Yevgeny's short-lived armed mutiny last month, according to Russian officials and news reports. Well, it's Russians saying that, so it must be true. I can't imagine it's ones who actually joined the mutiny who were killed by the Russians, because they would never do that. A man arrested in Moscow for trying to firebomb Lenin's mausoleum. A man has been detained in Moscow after throwing a Molotov cocktail at the notorious Russian revolutionary Vladimir Lenin's tomb in Red Square in a failed attempt to set it on fire. The suspect, identified as a 37-year-old from a city of Chita, was taken into custody, according to multiple Russian news outlets. Yeah, I mean, you've got to be brave to attack Lenin's mausoleum. I mean, crikey. Lay on the horn too, as they will move on faster, as they will get hearing damage if they don't move off. Yeah, that's a good one, Foxstar. Welcome, by the way. 7-year-old killed in Florida by toddler driving a golf cart. A 3-year-old Florida boy struck and killed a 7-year-old child while behind the wheel of a golf cart. The toddler was approaching a curve near his home in Buckingham when he lost control of the car and steered it into the 7-year-old boy standing in his front yard around 4 p.m. Yeah, horrendous. But who's letting a 3-year-old drive a golf buggy? And how can they reach the pedals? I can only assume that there was someone grown up stood on the pedals, so why couldn't they take the foot off the pedal, turn the steering wheel or something like that? Absolute tragedy. Horrendous. 16-year-old boy shot, wounded by gunmen on City Bike in New York City. City Bike is like the hire bike things. A 16-year-old boy was shot and wounded by a gunman on a city bike in the Bronx late Monday. The team was walking at the intersection when a group of males approached him, some of them on city bikes, police said. The shooter, who was riding one of the bikes, opened fire, striking the victim in the chest and leg. Golf cart in GTA is deadly. That's a very good point, very well raised. And to be fair, the 3-year-old shouldn't be playing it on GTA either. A boy 15 dies after broad daylight shooting in New York City. A 15-year-old boy was gravely wounded in broad daylight in Brooklyn on Tuesday, authorities said. He was shot in the back during a clash on the 62nd Street near 20th Avenue around 1 p.m. on Monday. Again, we started off well, but sadly, teenagers dying needlessly from gun crime in America. But yeah, they just let it carry on. Didn't they learn that from Johnny Knoxville in that golf cart buggies or killers? Oh yes, yeah, when they rolled it over, and yeah. A green fireball caught on Ring camera sparks UFO panic. That's an alien ship. No, it's not. Apparently, Ring cameras catch both potential home and alien invaders in the act. Taking a break from busting trespassers, the popular doorbell security device has captured the moment a mysterious green fireball streaked across the night sky in Louisiana, sparking conspiracy theories that the object could have been extraterrestrial in origin. I'm pretty sure it was extraterrestrial in origin. It was probably a meteorite or something similar, or some space debris. But either way, it was not aliens. Well, it's not the shooter's fault, so why would the 15-year-old let themselves get shot? Well, it's kind of worms there. You have to be careful. Meghan Markle steps away from Harry's public attempts to be anonymous. So basically, there are cracks appearing now in the relationship. Who saw this coming? Oh yeah, everyone. Meghan Markle makes no attempt to be anonymous when out in public, according to a royal body language expert. Well, obviously, she loves the fame. She craves the fame. That's why she catfished Harry in the first place. Harry's a vulnerable young man. And yeah, she saw her opportunity to become a princess, the Queen of UK, blah, 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 blah. And it's turned into a nightmare for the whole world, not just for her and Harry. Russian strikes Ukraine grain port after exiting export deals. So not only did they stop the grain coming out of Ukraine, which has put the prices up worldwide, they've also sent missiles to the storage silos that have got what grain is in Ukraine and destroyed it. Fantastic. 3 teenagers injured in Times Square shooting. 3 teenage boys were shot in Times Square on the trio victims aged 15, 16 and 17 were struck by bullets when a male suspect opened fire on 7th Avenue between West 41st Street and 42nd Streets at 11:50 p.m. See, I've not really wanted to go to New York, but I would never go to New York now. Sure up Harry, yeah indeed. Oh, it should be shut up Meghan. Earth may see minor geomagnetic storm from recent powerful solar flares. US authorities have issued a minor geomagnetic storm watch for the planet as scientists observe powerful flares in the sun over the weekend. The US Space Weather Prediction Centre said the storm may hit Tuesday. Yeah, and nothing happened. So that was a bit of a damp squib, wasn't it? Philadelphia woman opens fire on team of burglars creeping around apartments, hits 2 of them. 2 suspects in Philadelphia who allegedly broke into a woman's apartment before she pulled out a firearm and shot at them are still on the loose, according to police. Police said an unidentified woman returned to her apartment in Philadelphia's Germantown neighbourhood at about 1:30 a.m. on Sunday and discovered 4 men inside. A struggle brought out between the women and the 4 men. She got a gun out and shot 2 of them. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I think you should be able to defend your own property. I mean, obviously in the UK, you can't use a gun, but if someone's threatening you and physically assaulting you, you can defend yourself with reasonable means, which would be, I don't know, maybe a vase or a baseball bat or whatever. But you can't hit them more than once. You've got to be very careful. And I'm not saying you can't hit them at all, actually, thinking about it. I retract that last statement. I'm going to delete that the last 30 seconds didn't happen. I deny all knowledge. Fear drives Brooklyn youth to carry guns, and neither cops nor jail are a deterrent, a study says. Well, we don't need a study to know why they're carrying guns. It's the same reason kids in the UK carry knives. They are shit scared that someone's going to stab them over here. So in order to protect themselves from someone coming up and trying to stab them, they've got a knife on them. Which then means if they get the knife out, if they've been attacked by someone who may not have a knife themselves, they could lose that knife and then get stabbed themselves by their own knife. And it's the same kind of thing going on in New York, but with guns. Like I say, you don't need to be very clever to figure that one out. Another thing we agree on. Alright, okay, don't know what that was, but I'm sure it was. The sun has many CMA events and nothing happens, just slight disruption. The one day it will fry the satellites. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, hang on. What happened then? I don't know what happened then. Let's go back to that one. Toddler kills 1-year-old sister with handgun found in San Diego home. A 3-year-old child accidentally shot and killed their 1-year-old sister using a handgun found in their San Diego home, police said. A call received on this Monday at 7:30 a.m. about a shooting at Fallbank Home, where the toddler got hold of an unsecured gun and fired it at the infant. The 1-year-old suffered an injury to the head and was rushed to a local hospital treatment where she died. Now, for a start, I don't think a 3-year-old child accidentally shoots anyone. I don't think a 3-year-old child has any concept. The 3-year-old child is not to blame for this in any way, shape or form. The person to blame for this is whomever owns the gun. And the person who owns that gun should go to prison for a very long while. I mean, it is ridiculous that a child of 3 can get hold of a handgun, not only get hold of it, but actually point it and fire it. And how long did the child have the gun for before the gun went off? There's no one actually watching what the children are doing. Absolutely ridiculous. A New Jersey woman sings Sweet Caroline and Mona songs as doctors remove a brain tumour. Now, this is something I don't really like, but it's quite impressive. If you've got a brain tumour or they're operating on the brain, they don't put you out for it. They keep you awake, and they get you doing things. And I've seen people playing violins and stuff like that. It's very, very impressive. Her doctors were singing her praises. A New Jersey woman sang during surgery as doctors removed a brain tumour that was causing her to have seizures. Sampling hits such as Sweet Caroline, whoa, 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 Disney's Mona soundtrack. But yeah, fantastic. The operation was successful. We'll have to wait and see if the seizures stop. But either way, very, very impressive indeed. I can't look at that for too long because I feel a bit sick. A 3-year-old killing 1-year-olds only in America, sadly. Yes, crazy gun laws in America. Yeah, we normally have Jay Morris on at this point, who I think to give up trying to defend America, to be fair. But he's our token American. But sadly, or she, I don't know, it's he or she, they are our token American. But sadly, not on today. OceanGate CEO created mousetrap for billionaires and murdered his passengers, says a friend. Some friend of him, eh? A close friend of Stockton Rush, who was operating the Titan sub when it imploded last month, compared to the vessel to a mousetrap for billionaires and accused the OceanGate CEO of murdering his passengers in an interview. He's a submarine operator himself who rode on the Titan during a test run in 2019. I mean, it's insane that you would get on it, and it's insane you'd invent it and charge people to get on it. But if you're a thrill seeker, I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? Why do people jump off bridges with elastic bands tied around their ankles? I mean, you know, if you're a bit weighty, what's to say that it wouldn't just rip your ankles off? No? Well, hey? Bloody 12-hour stretch of New York City youth-on-youth gun violence kills 15-year-old aspiring MMA fighter. A 15-year-old aspiring MMA fighter was killed in an errant bullet from a gunman just 2 years older than him. One of the 5 teams shot in less than 12 hours. Explosion of youth-on-youth violence across the Big Apple. Floridan Mavlova on Tuesday became the latest victim of the city's cruel bloodletting. Now, it said an errant bullet. Now, the term they've been using recently is a stray bullet. So I'm trying to figure out now what the difference is between an errant bullet and a stray bullet. The only difference I see is you're just making names for something that shouldn't exist, which is bullet that are killing kids. It's a different one. Russian fighter jet has unsafe close encounter with manned US surveillance aircraft in latest Syria incident. A Russian fighter jet buzzed dangerously close to an American aircraft over Syria, the latest air encounter between US and Russian forces in the region, endangering the US Air Force pilots on board. We are building up to something major kicking off. Burger King assistant manager arrested for serving customers fries from the trash can. Assistant manager of a South Carolina Burger King has been arrested after she allegedly served customers French fries that had been in the trash can. Jamie Christine Major, 39, was charged on Monday with tampering with food, a felony, for allegedly taking French fries from the trash and adding them to the container where freshly cut fries are placed and then dumping just cut fries on top. It's called recycling, but no, it's disgusting. And I must admit, it took me a long while to have onion rings after the M&M video, where there's a bit in one of his early videos where he spits on the onion rings at Burger King, and yeah, I went off onion rings for a while. But yeah, out the bin. But it didn't say how clean the bin was. The bin might have been very clean, you know. A new breed of venomous snake has been discovered in Australia. That's all you need to know. It's like, aren't there enough venomous snakes in Australia without you inventing another one? But apparently, nope, they've invented another one. Florida jury awards 8-year-old girl $800,000 after she was burnt by a McDonald's chicken nugget. And you're like, what the? A Florida jury awarded an 8-year-old girl $800,000 in damages after the child suffered second-degree burns from a McDonald's chicken nugget 4 years ago. Now, I reported on this when the case started, but I'm like, it's horrible. Kid gets burnt and, you know, probably have a scar for life, blah, blah, blah. But $800,000? Seriously? I think $8,000 would be generous. $80,000 would be more than generous. $800,000. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why America is insane. You can sue anyone for anything and get shed loads of money for it. Imagine hot food being hot, exactly. Hi Kim, welcome. Protesters storm Swedish embassy in Baghdad ahead of planned Koran burning in Stockholm. Protesters, angered by the planned burning of a copy of the Koran, stormed the Swedish embassy in Baghdad on Thursday, breaking into the compound and lighting a small fire, on which they burned the copy of... Online videos show demonstrators at the Republic Post waving flags and signs showing the influential Iraqi Shiite cleric and political leader Muqtada al-Sadr ahead of a planned burning of the... I don't know why you burn the Quran. I don't know why you burn it. Why would you burn it? Why would you burn any book? But yeah, apparently they're doing it. Chuck E. Cheese admitted to reheating uneaten pizza slices from whole pizzas and serving them up as extra parts. McDonald's have had a very bad week. They're not loving it. No, exactly. We're not loving it. But yeah, why would you burn? I don't understand it. Tupac and Shakur linked. A police raid revives theories pointing to former prime suspect in rapper's 1996 murder. But again, like I said before, surely to God, after 27 years, you would remove anything that would be indicting of you of having done it. A cancer patient wins $18.8 million from Johnson & Johnson in baby powder trial. They've had to pay $18.8 million to a Californian man who claimed he got cancer from exposure to the New Jersey-based company's talc containing baby powder. He's 24 and he developed mesothelioma, an aggressive and deadly cancer in the tissues around his heart, from heavy exposure to asbestos and other carcinogens since childhood. Now, funnily enough, I didn't know the story was coming up, but I was talking about this. It used to be called talcum powder. They changed it to baby powder. And my mum needed some. The carer said on Tuesday that my mum needed some, so I bought some, and I joked, yeah, we get it now without the asbestos in it. Well, yeah, 18.8 million. To be fair, the guy's got life-ending cancer, so kind of makes sense, that one. Young suspect wanted in New Jersey shooting that wounded three boys. A young suspect wanted in New York City shooting that wounded boys aged 3 and 6 and has been arrested, charged with attempted murder. The suspect gunman wanted in Bronx shooting that wounded 4 people, including a 3-year-old boy and his 6-year-old brother, have been arrested. Now, we reported on this last week and the gunman was at large, but thankfully, hopefully, they've got the right person and justice will be served. Warning for pick, yeah, sorry about that. Woman sues spicy Thai food restaurant over too spicy dish. We talk about, different levels of news. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the spicy Thai food restaurant. A woman is suing a San Jose, California area restaurant and its employees for negligence and emotional distress, claiming that one of the eatery's mega spicy dishes was unfit for human consumption and left her with health issues that lingered 2 years after she ate it. Thai food is spicy. Oh no, I've got this curry and it's too curry-y. OceanGate co-founder believes Titanic director James Cameron knows nothing about doomed sub. Well, yeah, that's obvious. He's a film director, producer. He is not a submariner. Although he's been in Downey 1, he didn't make it. New York, this is interesting. New York City congestion scanners installed as New Jersey files lawsuit over toll shopping. It's coming. New York has started installing toll radars in the west side of Manhattan to start charging congestion fees by spring, but the New Jersey governor is fighting back. New cashless systems are already popping up in the busy metropolitan area that will charge commuters anywhere between $9 and $23 to enter the Big Apple come May. Contractors were seen installing these radars on 61st Street and West End. This is May next year. But yeah, they're installing these things and you've got to be very, very careful because we are taking away our civil liberties. What I was saying earlier on. What was I saying earlier on? Fire safety instructor accidentally shoots wife dead and then turns gun on himself. A suburban Chicago man who held firearms training classes accidentally shot and killed his wife while cleaning his gun. He then turned the weapon on himself, according to police. Tragic case, but this guy is a gun expert and teaches gun safety to people, or taught gun safety to people. The fish is too fishy, yes. Well, because he's been in one means he knows how to make it. We're about Cameron, aren't we? Texas school board threatening to tear down a 78-year-old man's home to build a parking lot. Seems reasonable. A public school district in Texas is pursuing an eminent domain process to remove a 78-year-old man from his home that his family has owned for more than a century in order to build a high school football stadium parking lot. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Americans, really, just sort yourselves out. I mean, literally, just sort yourselves out. A pint-sized man, 26, poses as teen at Nebraska high schools. He's now charged with sex crimes. To be fair, you wouldn't think he was 26 years old looking at that photograph. A pint-sized 26-year-old Nebraska man posed as teenage students to blend in at 2 high schools last year and has now been nabbed on sexual assault and sex trafficking charges. Using their aliases Sax Hayes and Zachary Schnee, he pretends to be a 17-year-old junior to enrol in Northwest High School in Lincoln and then transferred to Southwest High School. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. It would be nice for America to have a car park that doesn't collapse. Yes, too soon. What are you doing, Cat? Ryanair passengers faint on a 100-degree plane from hell. Now, it's not 100 degrees centigrade because they'd be dead. They wouldn't faint, they'd be cooked. But desperate passengers on a Ryanair flight to Italy were left stranded on the tarmac with no air conditioning in over 100-degree Fahrenheit heat this week, leading to some would-be travellers to pass out from the horrific conditions. Ryanair flight from Malaga, Spain to Milan, scheduled for 10 AM on Wednesday, was delayed on the runway by 10 hours while the local temperatures soared to about 107 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot. Yeah, if it was centigrade, they would be dead. I mean, there's no ifs and buts. California surfboard stealing sea otter evades capture to the delight of fans. Remember last week we were reporting on the otter that was aggressively attacking surfers for being in its territory, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. The surfers should just move a little bit further down the coast and stop disturbing this. But no, because it's in California, the Americans have more rights than the animals, so they're trying to capture the poor thing. This feisty marine mammal seems utterly impossible to capture. A California sea otter who has been stealing surfers' boards has proven to be quite the escape artist, to the delight of many fans. Wildfire workers have been trying for more than a week to capture the aggressive female otter who has become known by local surfers off the coast of Santa Cruz for her sticky paws and tendency to put a fight up for a good surfboard. Otters can be slippy, indeed. They were born slippy, weren't we all, though, to be fair? Anyway. Harrowing moment, an explosion causes a bus to go airborne and almost crush a man under it in Johannesburg. Now, I saw a video saying what's happening in Johannesburg. I think it was on Snapchat, and it was just people running and screaming. But apparently it was an underground blast. It sent a line of minibuses airborne and people on the streets of Johannesburg running for their lives. The closed circuit footage showed the surreal underground explosion that killed one man and injured another 48 people during evening rush hour in South Africa's largest city on Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, just the pictures alone are quite terrifying. A man who plays fake Star Wars character Fluke Skywalker arrested for child pornography. A man who has been branded Fluke Skywalker for his portrayal of icon Star Wars character at a kids' charity event has been arrested for possessing child's pornography. Yeah, I always have grave concerns of people who dress in very skin-tight clothes and then pose for pictures with young children and then ask the parents to send the pictures to them, i.e. Spider-Man and things like that. I'm not saying they're all perverts, but I certainly think there's something not quite right with those people. I almost died in a shark attack. Now I'm pregnant with my first child. I read that and I thought, what? A shark got her pregnant? But no. She was about to start a senior year of high school when an aggressive 9-foot shark bit her right leg in June 2022. She has recovered from nearly losing her life and is now pregnant to give birth to her first child. It's crazy to be bringing a brand new life into the world when mine was almost gone, the 18-year-old said. No, it's called life. Well, the only reason we're on this planet is to make more humans. Other than that, we're just waiting to die. So yeah, but the headline, I almost died in a shark attack, now I'm pregnant with my first child. Right, wow. No, the shark didn't get her pregnant, Smiley Mac. I thought I'd clear that up. Soccer match in England called after a masked man in hearse stormed the field. Masked men drove onto an English soccer field, tore up the surf and tossed flyers out of their car windows in a bizarre incident that forced the cancellation of the game. The caught on video chaos shows two vehicles, including a hearse and a silver Subaru, doing donuts during the stunt, frightening many fans at the match between Gateshead FC and Dunstan UTC, according to the footage reported by the UK's Sun newspaper. Absolutely no idea what that was about. Obviously it wasn't just up oil because they're driving cars. Daddy Shark. Baby shark, 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 baby shark. Yeah, anyway. Football, Americans get it right. That's a good point, well made, Smiley Mike. Yeah, they didn't call it soccer. Anyway, that's the news from America. So let's have a look and see what's going on down under. Let's go and see what's going on in Australia. What's going on in Australia? One of the is an area. One of the team's owner or has links to a few. Oh, right, okay. Right, Australia. Whoops. Should kids be sent off? I mean, this is Australia going mad. I mean, this whole thing is Australia just going, woohoo, we're mad. Should kids be sent off the field for swearing? In Australia? I mean, for God's sake, everyone swears in Australia. Me. Should children be sent off the footy field for swearing? Junior rugby league clubs are proposing to send children as young as 6 years old off the field for swearing during a game. The NRL has praised the crackdown on bad language just weeks after the Brisbane Broncos star Reece Walsh was suspended for a foul-mouthed spray towards a referee. Australians can't swear? What is the world coming to? They come out of the world and go, "Fuck me, it's bright here, innit?" The 2026 Victorian Commonwealth Games have been cancelled. Victoria will no longer host the 2026 Commonwealth Games due to funding issues, i.e. they haven't got enough money. The Premier of Victoria, which is obviously a state in Australia, has said that they're not going to do the games, and they're giving like 3 years notice for someone else to find it and set it all up. Absolute idiot. Multi-vehicle traffic crash near Rockhampton. An emergency declaration has been issued following a horror vehicle traffic crash in Bajul in Rockhampton. An army tanker is believed to be involved in the incident, with emergency services now treating several patients. Their conditions are not yet known. I assume they weren't too serious because it wasn't reported again. Kiwis are eating possums as meat as prices soar. Cost of living crisis is so bad that basically it says here that Kiwis, not the bird, because they are not carnivores, but Kiwis, as in people who live in New Zealand, are eating cute rats for meat because the cost of food has gone up so much and the cost of energy has gone up so much and everything else. It's not just here in the UK. New data have emerged on what police alleged happened before Claire Nowland was tasered in a Cooma nursing home. Now, if you remember, this is the 95-year-old who was holding a knife near a table, and the police tasered her rather than waiting for her to get tired or even trying to get the knife off her. It now turns out that the officer involved basically told her to put the thing down, and she wouldn't do, so he went, "Nah, bugger it," and then tasered her. She fell over, she got a brain injury, and died a few days later. He's now charged with murder. Now, the Australians were going on about us Poms whinging and moaning about the unsporting conduct of their players in the Ashes, when they basically stumped out one of our guys after an over was finished. I think I mentioned it in passing. And they did pictures of celebrities in the UK whinged and moan about it in babies' nappies and say that everyone spat the dummy out. Yeah, this is the Australian press, and they're now calling one of our English cricketers a Ashes villain, as he's claimed his 600th Test wicket. Now, I'm sorry, but you can't have a go at the Brits for whinging and moaning about someone unsportingly not outing, that's the wrong word, but unsportingly stumping someone, and then have a go and call someone a villain who has legally taken 600 wickets. Insanity rules in Australia. But no, gets worse. Spirit prices set to soar due to fresh tax hikes. Distillers are calling for government intervention. Australian spirits manufacturers are pleading for the government to step in as the country's tax on spirits looks like to set the price of spirits to $100 per litre. We think our alcohol's expensive. Jesus. A man jailed after stealing, this is in the UK actually, a man jailed after stealing 200,000 Cadbury cream eggs. A British man dubbed the Easter Bunny by police has been sentenced to 18 months behind bars for his extravagant theft. Joby Poole, 32, reportedly stole more than $59,000 worth of chocolate eggs after breaking into an industrial unit and making off in a stolen truck. In the UK, when he did it, it was reported that the heist was like £50,000, but it turns out most of that was the actual truck that he run off in, and the actual cream eggs were only a few grand, but he's still getting sentenced 18 months. I guess they're just lifting spirits over there. Yes, indeed. So the prices off. Right, here we go again. This is bonkers. More bonkers wokeness in Australia. Should hot chips be banned from community canteens? Now, community canteens is basically fish and chip shops. Best enjoyed coated in chicken salt and doused in tomato sauce at a local footy game. Hot chippies are a beloved Aussie staple. But in a push to promote healthy eating in line with new guidelines from state governments, a local Melbourne council is cracking down on all deep-fried delicacies cooked in built-in fryers. So basically they're trying to shut down chip shops in Australia because it's not healthy. Our best chocolate in the world? No, it's not. Urgent recall for lollies with dangerous toys. What could possibly go wrong? A lollipop sold with a novelty toy has been urgently recalled over concerns button batteries pose a choking hazard for children, with consumers being advised to dispose of the spinning top immediately. So yeah, basically, don't feed your kids batteries. The Americans got told this about a year ago, and now the Australians are getting it. Healthy eating ? That's just food waste. Can't argue with that. And then that brings us up to, and finally, sports. What's gone on that's made me have a wry smile this week? Quite a bit. Starting with this, which is basically just before you die, swallow a whole bag of popcorn kernels. Your cremation will be epic. I don't think it quite works like that, but I like the sentiment of it. Yeah, just eat the kernels before you die, and then they will literally pop when you're being cooked in the oven. Lovely. At least the guests get something to eat when they have the beer at the wake. Humans may have to pollinate crops with paintbrushes due to bee shortage. As the UK starts to run out of our favourite insect, experts have warned Brits may have to take it upon themselves to pollinate crops using paint brushes. Americans who moved over to Australia making batteries make the news. Just get a suit filled with them. Yeah, that would work just as well as well. Pubs of the future will have AI bots pouring pints and will recognise regulars, which takes me back to the thing about computers can recognise you. I was on about the gambling earlier on. The product director at hospitality firm Zonal said the new technology could be used to offer regular customers something personal, such as a glass of the usual. It's not personal if it's a fucking robot saying that. This is genius. Things I hate. Number 1, vandalism. It's spray painted on a wall. Number 2, irony. He doesn't like vandalism, or they don't like vandalism, they've sprayed it on a wall. Number 3, lists. Absolute genius. In weather news, the rock's laid again, like to global warming, absolutely. And then parents telling my mum a secret, my mum the next day. There's a picture of a middle-aged woman with a microphone chatting to a camera guy who looks like he's from the local news department. And yeah, it's true, and you tell someone a secret and it's literally, we'll tell the whole world. Now this is really impressive. Now this is a screen grab from a video, and I'm like, this can't be real, this cannot be real, but I can't see a reason why it wouldn't be. They are huge blades from a wind turbine. I mean, they are massive. And this is in I think a Middle Eastern country. I assume there's no bridges on the route because they are angled in a way that they are about 20 metres in front of the truck that's carrying them, and the tips of them are about 50 metres in the air while they're driving. And I've had a close look at the bottom of it, and it's actually got proper connections in the back of the trailer. But you couldn't do that on a windy day, could you? But very impressive. And they're actually moving in the video, and there's people walking around as well. So you're like, is this fake or is it real? And I would go that this is real. Very, very impressive indeed. I don't want robots subscribing to the channel. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry face toxic problem while smelling of failure. As Meghan Markle and Prince Harry contemplate their next moves in Hollywood, a royal expert reckons the pair face a potentially toxic problem following recent snubs, i.e. the Americans are as bored of them as we are. Yeah, smiling Matt. The wind turbines do work best in the wind, but not when they're on the back of a truck. That's all I'm saying. I was arrested because I was lonely and called the cops 2,700 times to chat. Nikoro Hatigami was arrested after she had rang the police, fire stations and other emergency services a total of 2,761 times for phone calls as she was lonely and wanted attention from someone. Now, we criticise, but my mother did that a couple of years ago, and not 2,700 times, but still. The full comment section has gone. No, it hasn't. It's still there. I'm reading your comments. If you go to the top where it says top chat or whatever, just put all chat or live chat. It'll come back. Oh, no, you're right. It's all gone. Oh, no. No, it's all gone. What's happened? Oh, no. No. Anyway, Elon Musk's XAI may inadvertently open doors to ancient Elon Musk's XAI may inadvertently open doors to ancient cosmic entities. A man who claims to be able to see into the future has warned of grave cosmic dangers that Elon Musk's artificial intelligence may bring with mysteries we won't understand. What? No, it's not just you. It's all gone. Everything's gone. It's all you talking now. Everyone else is gone. Oh, server cache wipe again. Alright, okay. Meanwhile, mum used fake hitmen website to hire someone to murder her 3-year-old son. Police say Yasmin Pays attempted to hire a killer to murder her own child, but the clueless teen mum had used a spoof website filled with clues that wasn't to be taken seriously. Why would you want to kill your 3-year-old son? I mean, seriously. If you can't cope, seek help. If that doesn't work, don't kill them. Just put them into care or something, or get a relative to look after them. Insane. Harry and Meghan wanted to return to the US on Air Force One after the Queen's funeral. They want lots of things, don't they? It has been claimed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle requested to return to the US on board President Joe Biden's Air Force One plane following the Queen's funeral, but they were turned down, and rightly so. Absolutely rightly so. She looks like a man. Desperate Putin forming Russian dad's army as maximum fighting age is now 70. Vladimir Putin has increased the maximum age of those who can be sent to fight in Ukraine to 70, with the Russians now getting desperate as their army continues to take heavy losses. So basically, in a country the size of Russia, he's running out of people who will fight for him. It gets worse. Trust me, it gets worse. Nostradamus predicted deadly European heatwave for 2023 with chilling accuracy. Did he? Another prediction from French astrologer Nostradamus appeared to have come true as the scorching heat wave raging in Europe threatens to break temperature records. The guy was a genius. So we've got someone from the future and someone from the past. Here we go. So Putin is getting people up to the age of 70 into the army to go and fight in Ukraine. I mean, God, imagine when winter comes again. Poor sods are going to be dying of hypothermia. Never mind actual action. But not to worry, because the youngsters are getting involved as well. Russian kids to be taught how to operate combat drones in school lessons. What? I mean, if this isn't the sign of a man, well, yeah, we know he's man anyway, don't we? Russian kids will be taught military drills, weapon training, and how to operate combat drones as the war in Ukraine continues, with the Kremlin confirming changes to the curriculum. So, yeah. So, what did you learn today, Vladimir, at school? We learned how to drop a bomb on the Ukrainians, mummy. Oh, very good, well done. Yeah, I got a gold star because I dropped. We had a practice in the backyard and we dropped it on Shikorstikov, the Ukrainian kid. Oh, well done! I'm so proud of you, son. Thanks, mummy. Yeah, insane. Boffin admits small chance mysterious planet X could smash into Earth. Small chance. Yeah. The mysterious planet X has been surrounded by speculation, with some predicting a doomsday scenario where it comes crashing into Earth. And a physicist, has been unable to rule it out. Genius. I mean, if it did happen, we wouldn't have anything else to worry about. I said that before you. I only saw it after you, because you see me delayed. Not like Russian schools teach kids properly anyway. That's the delay we get. That literally just popped up then. So that's the delay I get. So I said it before you typed it. I mean, I feel that they may see that coming. Yeah, I think they may see that coming as well. Maybe it's Putin's way out of this war, just destroy the whole planet. Anyway, that's it for the world news. And to be fair, that's it for everything. But is there any breaking news this week? New section, we've just started. It's a bit boring to be fair, but anyway. M&S to shut over 60 stores. Virgin Money to close almost a third of its branches. Train strike delay, it's increasingly difficult to tell whether it's train strike or just delay. High Street braces for yet another blow as Wilco's, which has been in trouble for a long while, with 400 stores, could be sold, and the new company probably won't keep all the shops open. There's rumours that the one in Wigan has been shutting down for years. Wildfires on roads force thousands of holiday makers to escape. Whoops, wrong one. That one. Passport e-gates open to younger children. Strike delays hit holiday makers the busiest period. Check sheets and pillows in the morning for cancer symptoms. I've drooled on my pillow since I was a baby. I don't think that's a symptom of anything particular. I've been doing it for longer hours. Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying. Lewis Hamilton steals pole, unfortunately. ITV announces major shake-up with the schedules. Lots of shows being axed. Rail workers to strike again. Your forehead wrinkles might be the sign of this medical condition. No, it's just a sign of getting older. So yeah, that's it. That's all the current news at the moment. Unless we get another look. Let's have a look. Got heavy rain falling at the minute as well. Keep it all up to date. Something about Fraser then. What was that? Why are they calling it a holiday weekend? It's not a holiday weekend. Alright, Fraser's been relaunched, the TV show, apparently, on Paramount Plus, which is the argument I've had all the way along. They're striking next weekend, as you said. So, Lee gets to a Rugby Cup final. Let's calm down. Pouring down. Yeah, I can't see it from here because it's dark. Can't see anything because it's dark. Anyway, big shout out to everyone who joined in the chat. Sadly, we've had a reset, so a lot of the people who were in the chat I don't actually remember seeing. But a big shout out to Smiley Mac, Foxstar, Alan Barton, Angela, JT. Who else have we had? Well, we've had lots of people. A big shout out to T as well. Hope you're good. So we've had average view duration is 12 minutes 48 seconds. We've had 49 views overall. We've got 8 views at the minute. We've had 3 likes. Highest number of views at the same time. It appears to be 9. It's a bit lower than normal, but that's fine. And Kim, there you go. There you go. Apologies, Kim. I'm trying to think who else has been on as well. There's been a few. Oh, what's he called? Artemis has been on as well, and a few other bits and pieces, a few other people as well. But big shout out. We've had a bit of a technical glitch via YouTube, but you can still watch me, which is great. Well, not for much longer because we're going. Oh, hang on, we have to do that. Angela and Kim have to say hello and send kisses and hugs to each other, so just bear with us a second or two. I'll just have a drink. Uh, 37 or 39, I can't remember. It just popped up for like the last millisecond last week. Dum de dum de dum 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 de dum de dum dum dum. Anyway, Elder, are you watching the new Barbie film? Am I Ella's like? It's funny actually because what's the other Oppenheimer? Is it the other film that's out at the minute? And one of my mates come into the shop and said, "What do you think of the new Oppenheimer movie?" And I went, "Oh, one of the most pointless movies in history." And he went, "Oh." And then I realised he was going to ask me if I would go and watch it with him. 37, there you go. Anyway, that is it. I've not walked past this week because it's been wet, but I will walk past when the weather improves. So you take care, look after yourselves, stay safe, stay dry. Remember, it is still summer, allegedly. It is strange how that some parts of the world are burning and other parts of the world are drowning. And I think Kim and Angela have got a room now, so they're fine. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you all again soon. Yeah, the Wigan Watch, I'm editing as soon as I finish this, and it'll go up. It was meant to go up last night, but I was doing other videos as well, and then by the time I would have done the Wigan Watch, it wouldn't have. Anyway, so yeah, Wigan Watch is coming up soon, in a bit. And I've also got Silence doing a food review. I've got me reviewing a new razor, and I've got an air fryer. And I used it for the first time, and it went horrendously wrong. So those are the videos coming up tonight. I've also got a scan of 4 negatives as well, which I'm halfway through filming the video for. So there's loads of stuff going up. So yeah, take care, look after yourselves everyone, and I will see you all again next time. Until then, thanks for watching, and bye! Hey, Silence. Oh, I said bye, haven't I? So you've come for a stroke.